Hello everyone, I'm Hui. I'm the leader of Group 4. Today I will start my video rules about the straight. Chapter 9 Straight in English. Now, let's start it. First, we will come to the level of straight, but we have to know the definition of the straight. Straight is a pronunciation of word or syllable with more force than surrounding system of words. A straight word or syllable is produced by using more air from the lungs. If a word has more than one sound, one is called primary stress, and other sound called secondary stress. There are four main levels of stress: primary stress, main stress, full tonic stress, and head is syllable pronoun with the greatest prominence. Secondary stress is a little bit weaker than main stress in the same sound sequence. Half stress has no stress, but the vowel is pronounced with full dictionary value. And finally, is unstressed is the weakest form of syllable. It's usually schwa. And my part is end here. We will come to the next part now. Hi everyone, I'm Hui. I'm the leader of Group 4. Today I'm going to start my course video about the straight. Now let's get started. Straight is the pronunciation of a word or syllable with more force than surrounding syllable of a word. A straight word or syllable is produced by using more air than from the lungs. If a word has more than one straight sound, one sound is called primary straight, and other straight is called secondary straight. There are four main levels of straight: primary straight, main straight, phonemic straight. Head is syllable pronounced with the greatest prominence. The main straight is pronounced with the strongest degree. The secondary straight, substrate, is a little bit weaker than the main straight in the same subsequent. Half straight has no straight, but its vowel is pronounced with a full dictionary value. Unstraight is a weaker form of syllable, usually added schwa.
Stress pattern of simple words and derivative words in multi-syllable noun and adjective. The primary stress falls on the first syllable. Example: happy, clever, prison, water, increaser. Words ending in is, sun, have penultimate stress. For example, conversation, location, environmental. Words ending in c, t, v, s take the antepenultimate stress. Grace, estimate, accumulate. The words that have the following endings typically take the antepenultimate stress: aim, entertain, ear, volunteer, engineer, et, kitchenity, block et, balloon, cartoon, maroon. Number 2 is stress pattern on composed word, and the first we have the main stress on the first part. And for the composed noun, the first part is heavily stressed if the structure are as follows: the noun plus noun, noun plus verbing, verbing plus noun, and verb plus noun. Example: noun plus noun is armchair, water pond, fly instinct, and noun plus verbing is bird watching, film making, and verbing plus noun is sitting room, melting pond, and having verb. And verb plus noun is Google box, pickpockets, and killjoys. And for composed adjective, there's components have the primary stress and the first components, and composed adjective usually written as one word is airtight, carefree, and noun plus verb in form is time consuming and fee paying, and the noun plus past participate is peer perhaps, how related. Number 2, we have the main stress on the second part. For composed noun, the second part is primary stress in this pattern, and adjective plus noun is deep state, faithful, central bank, and adjective plus verb is global warming, central heating, soft landing, and past participates plus noun is lost property, interverse market.
Here is how we often pronounce two-syllable words. We often stress the first syllable of a two-syllable noun or adjective. Context, produce, address, perfect. I always buy produce at the supermarket. I wrote my friend's address on the envelope. We often stress the second syllable of a two-syllable verb. Produce, perfect, address, perfect. A trees produce fruit. She will address the meeting.
Here we have football, which is noun plus noun. Armchair, noun plus noun. But then we have, for example, writing desk, which is gerund plus noun. Or swimming pool, again, gerund plus noun. Or high school, which is adjective plus noun. Highway, adjective plus noun. Or we can have crybaby, verb plus noun. Pushcart, verb plus noun. So, important thing is the grammatical category of the resulting compound. If it is a noun, then we are going to
weak form and strong form. In English, there are certain words that can be pronounced in two ways, known as weak form and strong form. Words we have to weak form are often grammar words. Words which carry the main meaning of the sentence don't usually have to a weak form. That means most nouns, as verb, adjective, and verb don't have weak form. Preposition like to, for, us have weak form. Also, auxiliary verb often have weak form. For example, him, strong form him, weak form him. So, what are strong form? The verb will become past form by changing inside vowel of the present from a called strong verb. What are weak form? Weak form can be defined as words that are unchecked when we speak naturally. This is a very simple definition to be a little bit more specific. Weak form are really sound in syllables that are unchecked. Now, let's read each word first in strong form and weak form. Determiner example of determinant and quantify. The, a, an, an, some. Example pronoun.
Examples of pronouns. He. She thinks he's handsome. Her. Tom told her that the meeting had been cancelled. Him. I've bought you some chocolate. His. That's his last chance. Me. John called me last night. Our. She dropped her coffee on our rug. She. I think she's gone to the library. Them. We dropped them off at the airport. Us. Lucy gave us one of her kittens. We. I wonder when we should leave. Who. Do you know who that girl is? You. Yeah. Do you like chocolate? Your. Is that your coat?
Preparation example. Then, as, us, for, from, of, to, as, yeah. Conjunction. And, on. Bus, that, auxiliary.
Anne. Not going home, am I? Ah. That's cool just now. B. It's going to be late. Been. Have you been here long? Can you come early? Could. Think you could pass the exam? Do you need any help? Doesn't live in London, does he? Had. I had a car when I was at university. Auxiliary verbs are own model verbs. Has. He's been here for years. Have. I've had lunch already. Must. You really must take your umbrella. Shall we go out for dinner? Should. You really should get a haircut. Was. It was a beautiful day. Where? They were late again. Will. He'll arrive later. Would. If I were you, I'd study a bit more.
Can. Could. Have. Has. Had. Her. Will. Shall. Should. Must. Do. Does. Did. Am. Are. Was. Were. Been.
Sentence thread. Sentence thread is a music of spoken English. Like word thread, sentence thread can help you to understand spoken English, especially when spoken fast. Sentence thread is what gives English is a rhythm or beat. You remember that word thread is an extension on the similar within a word. Sentence thread is an action on sentence word with a sentence. Most sentences have the type of word. Consonant words, such as words. Consonant words are the key words of the sentence. They are important words that carry the meaning of sentence. Such words are not very important words. They are the same simple words that make the sentence correct grammatically. If you remove the structured words from a sentence, you will probably still understand the sentence. The basic rules of the sentence threads are: content words are the thread, structured words are understood. The time between thread words is always the same.
2, 3, 4. Let's try adding some words in between. For example, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now notice what I did. I didn't say 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I didn't stress and.
I only stressed the numbers. And was weakened to n. So not and, but n. We're using a weak form here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Let's add another word in there. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Again, I'm not saying 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4, okay? That's quite tiring and my poor hand is gonna start hurting in a moment. But you see what I mean. So in English, we don't stress every single word. We're going to stress the numbers because they're important here in this exercise, but the and a are going to be weakened to n, We're going to join them together, n. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Now let's apply this same rule to a proper sentence. So here I've got, I want a cup of tea. I want a cup of tea. So notice I'm not saying, I want a cup of tea. It's not all stressed. I want a cup of tea. Now when it comes to intonation, we're going to raise our pitch slightly on those stressed words. So we're not going to read it all monotone, like, I want a cup of tea, okay? It sounds very robotic in English if you do that. You'll be understood, but to another person's ear, it will sound quite robotic. So raise your pitch on those stressed words. I want a cup of tea. I want a cup of tea. Now you probably words and function words. To name a few content words, nouns, adverbs, adjectives, verbs, question words, and negative, auxiliary, modal, and negative words in general. For our function words, we have articles, auxiliary verbs, modal verbs, the verb to be, pronouns, prepositions, and conjunctions, otherwise known as connectives. Now we sometimes break this rule if the word is used for emphasis, contrast, if it's alone in a sentence, or sometimes if it comes at the end of a sentence. So let's take this sentence here. Now in normal sentence stress, we could say, I asked her if she wanted fish and chips. I asked her, or asked, it's up to you, or asked. I asked her if she wanted fish and chips. Fish and chips. So not fish and chips, fish and chips. Okay? And gets weakened to un. But let's imagine the listener that we're speaking to got a bit confused. They thought we said something else, so we need to clarify something. No, I said fish and chips, not fish or chips. Fish and chips, not fish or chips. Now I'm giving stress to and or. Otherwise, naturally, it would be said as fish and chips and fisher chips. Fisher chips, that sounds really weird, but it's what we would say. Now for some extra practice and to talk about the special surprise that I mentioned at the start of the video.
So, the first sentence is, Jack will cycle to the restaurant tonight. Now let's imagine that I am not a native English speaker, but I am a robot, and a robot will not give any exaggeration or stress or feeling to the sentence. So here is the robot. Jack will cycle to the restaurant tonight. It doesn't sound like good English, does it? There's no feeling there. We don't know what are the important words for the speaker. But if we look here at sentence number 1, I've highlighted the word Jack. This will be my key word in the sentence. I'm going to exaggerate it a lot. And this is normal, true, real English. By exaggerating one word, I will help the listener understand my point of view. Sentence number 1. Jack will cycle to the restaurant tonight. The word Jack here had the most melody. It sounds funny like that, but you can still hear where the stress is in the sentence. Jack will cycle to the restaurant tonight. This could mean Jack, not John or David. Jack will cycle to the restaurant tonight. You can hear that the word Jack has more melody, Plus, it also has a pause after the word, meaning, did you hear that important piece of information I just said? Jack, pause, will cycle to the restaurant tonight. And the rest of the sentence, will cycle to the restaurant tonight, is all spoken very quickly. But Jack was very slow and meaningful. Jack will cycle to the restaurant tonight. Let's look at sentence number 2. I have shifted or moved the emphasis onto will. Jack will cycle to the restaurant tonight. This is emphasizing it's definite. He will do it. Not he may or he might.